can't see myself. Hang on. I haven't went live in a long time. Okay, so I can't quite see it, but okay, there I am. All right. So welcome to a live stream. All right, I have not done this in a long time, but as you can see in the thumbnail, hopefully the thumbnail is showing up. Hopefully I did that right. We're looking at Revelation, right? The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11. Not really. Chapters 11, 12, 13, and 17. We're going to look at all four of those chapters. We're just going to kind of look through them and see what we can get from them. And as I'm getting the scriptures ready, look, like, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Helps me out a good bit. I want to be able to do this on a regular basis, even though I'm no good at it. I would like to do this on a normal basis, on a regular basis, and I'm not able to do that if I still have to go to work every day. But it is what it is. Hey, actually, this light right here is not the right color. We're talking about Revelation. It has to be red. Okay, ominous. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so we're gonna kind of jump between each of these chapters. We're not gonna read the fullness of the chapters. Okay, but we're kind of just trying to dig through the understanding of these chapters, and these are like the main essence, I guess, of Revelation. Okay, these are like the things that everybody talks about, right? That everybody wonders about. Everybody's always going all over the place about, wondering what's going on and all that stuff. So let's look at it. So we're going. All right, hang on. Let me do this. Boom. All right. So chapter 11. Now I've already done a full video of this. I already broke all this down, but I'm gonna do it again. All right, here we go. Then I was given a measuring rod like a staff, and this is John talking. Obviously, this is the revelation of Jesus Christ, but it was written by John. And I was told, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and those who worship there. But do not measure the court outside the temple. Leave that out. For it is given over to the nations, and they will trample the holy city for 42 months. Okay, 42 months. All right, that's, I think, 3.5 years, 3 years, 3.5 years. Don't quote me on that. I'm terrible at math. Okay, don't laugh. Anyway, verse 3. And I will grant authority to my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Now, the clothed in sackcloth part, okay, that means when you're clothed in sackcloth, right? In Jeremiah, it says, we can actually go back into that if you want to. In Jeremiah, right, God, Yahweh, tells his people to put on sackcloth, okay, which means wailing, right, sorrow, stuff like this, like you're sad, right, it's sorrow, and lamenting and stuff like that, and Jeremiah was that prophet of lamenting, okay, Lamentations, right, he wrote Lamentations. Here we go. So clothed in sackcloth, so that's what that means. So whenever they prophesy, they're going to be wailing, they're going to be, sad, and they're going to, all these people are thinking this is going to come down and just burn everything to the ground, all this stuff, and it's like they're going to be so confident they're just going to walk around like a bunch of giants and everything. No, they're going to be wailing, they're going to be lamenting, because this is the trampling of the holy city. Okay, now when do we know in real history, now this is real history, in real history, right, that's already happened, when did the nations, right, when did a nation trample the holy city? In 70 AD. That actually happened, okay? And tore the temple down, okay? Destroyed it. And this is exactly what Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21 is talking about. Okay, now we're not going to get into that today. We're not looking into that, but see how it all comes together. Okay, Jesus prophesied over the temple being destroyed, Jerusalem being trampled. Okay, and this is exactly what this is. So the two witnesses, right? 42 months. Now I've already done a video on this. Go jump back to it. All right, and I've revealed my position on this. I believe that the two witnesses, two olive trees, two lampstands, right? Two lampstands represents the churches, okay? And then the two olive trees are the two anointed ones, okay? Before that stand before the Lord of the earth, right? In verse 4, right here. All right, and so I believe that the two witnesses, and we'll jump into this in just a minute, in chapter 13 when it's talking about the beast, the two beasts, and they, right, they are the church, right? They are Jews and Gentiles put together. Okay, they're pushing the gospel forward. All right, so that's what that is in my head. Now again, I hold every bit of this real lightly in my palm. Okay, I'm not gripping it like all the other essential doctrines. Okay, or the essential doctrines, not the others, because that implies that this is essential and it's not. All right, so so this right here. Okay, now let's look at this. 42 months, right? 1,260 days. That's the exact same thing. 42 months, 1,260 days. All right, that's the same thing. Now, I don't know why it's put into two separate things, but that's what it is. So, let's do. Let's look at this right here. Okay. Now remember, 42 months, 1,260 days. Okay. Now let's jump down here. This is one of the reasons why I believe that the two witnesses are the church. Okay, and there's many reasons, and you can see this in Jeremiah. Okay, you can see this all over the Bible, where Israel is playing the whore. Okay, Israel and Judah, Jerusalem and Judah are playing the whore. Okay, Israel, same thing, and the whole nation is playing the whore against God. Okay, God married Israel, and so he's married to Israel. Okay, and so Israel starts messing around with the other gods, with the other kings of the earth and everything like that. And so we're not going to jump into this, all right? But in Matthew 23, Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, and he's like, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the ones who stone and kill the prophets that are sent to you, your house has left you desolate," right? And then when Jesus is at his judgment, or not his judgment, but his the trial of Jesus, right before his crucifixion, Pontius Pilate asks, right, the scribes and the high priests or whoever, and was like, do you want me to crucify your king? Right? And what do they say? The high priest stands up and says, "We have no king but Caesar." You're literally crucifying your own God, the God that you are married to, spiritually married to. And now I do got to make that distinction there, because it's, people probably watching this and being like, "Oh, what do you mean they're married?" No, it's like a spiritual thing. It's not a physical thing, obviously. Okay, obviously. But I just had to put that out there because, yeah. Anyway, some people just don't know their Bible. So anyway, so Israel, right, says, "We have no king but Caesar." They're literally looking at Yahweh in the flesh. They're literally looking and beholding Yahweh in the flesh, their God, all right, their spiritual husband. Okay, they're looking at him, and they said, "Crucify him. We choose Caesar. We don't choose him. He's not our king. Caesar's our king." So they said that to really hone in to the crucifixion part, right? Now, look, quit asking us questions, bro. Like Pilate, just go ahead and do it, okay? This is not our king. Caesar's our king. Boom, stamp of approval. All right, that's all he needed to hear. But he still didn't want to do it. Anyway, we're not getting into that. So we're going to go into the great harlot, the great whore, the great prostitute in a minute in chapter 17. All right, that's riding the beast. All right, here we go. So they're going to, again, they're going to prophesy, right? And they're going to prophesy and testify and do all that stuff for 42 months, 1260 days. Okay. So, verse 7. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that rises from the bottomless pit will make war on them and conquer them and kill them. Okay. So, and then their bodies will lay in the street, and then for 3.5 days, people, tribes, and tongues and languages, whatever, will gaze at their dead bodies and refuse to put them in a tomb, right? So, what I think about this is, basically, they were literal people, okay? So, the gospel being pushed out with Jews and Gentiles put together as the two witnesses pushing out the gospel, okay? Their dead bodies laid in the streets. Literally, it happened, okay? And they did not get the gospel did not get put in the tomb, okay? So the thing is it's just basically like, and here's a little resurrection part, right? Voice cried aloud and said, come up here. A great earthquake happened, all right? All symbolic, okay? Now, again, I can't explain everything, okay? That's why I hold this pretty lightly. But I just thought I would do this little live stream here to kind of go through it all. But anyway, so, all right, back to the 42 months and 1260 days, and then after they get done and finishing their testimony, the beast that rises from the pit will make war with them and to conquer them. All right. Now, see, I said that I'm going to 12, but I might not, only because this is, I think the reason I wanted to go through chapter 12 is because it's kind of like a flashback, right? Because the baby that's being born here, the son that's being born here, the child that's being born here is Jesus, okay? So this can't be a future thing. This is literally already happened in the manifestation, okay? So the first beast, here we go. All right, so here we go. Verse 5. And the beast was given a mouth uttering haughty and blasphemous words, and it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. For what? 42 months? That's the same exact thing as when the saints, right? Which we'll get to that in a minute. The two witnesses will prophesy for 42 months. This is okay? So the same time that the beast was given authority, the two witnesses were also given authority, okay? But watch what happens. Verse 6. This tells you that this is basically the perspective of the beast in chapter 13, but then in chapter 11, it's the perspective of the two witnesses. It's the same story being spoken of here, okay? Verse 6. It opened its mouth to utter blasphemies against God, blaspheming his name and his dwelling. That is, those who dwell in heaven. Okay, so he was blaspheming God's name and his dwelling, which is the ones that dwell in heaven, the saints, okay, that died before. All right, so verse 7, this is where it gets good. Also, it was allowed to make war on the saints and conquer them. And authority was given it over every tribe and people and language and nation. Woo! Okay. All right. So, again, the same language is being spoken right here in chapter 11. Okay? When he is finished, and when they are finished with their testimony, the beast that rises from the bottomless pit will make war on them and conquer them and kill them. Chapter 13, verse 7. Also, it is allowed to make war on the saints, not just two individuals, but the saints, and to conquer them. Wow. Okay. So what it is, okay, and right here, if anyone is taken captive, to captivity he goes, and anyone who is slain by the sword, with the sword must he be slain. Right here. Here is a call. Now, all of this that just happened, here is a call for the endurance of the faith of saints. Of the saints and faith of the saints. So, the reason that the beast was given the authority to make war with the saints, okay, and conquer them, is for endurance, right? If anyone is to be taken captive, which they were taken captive, to captivity he goes. If anyone will be slain by the sword, with the sword he must be slain. That happened. Here is the call of the endurance of the faith, and faith of the saints. Wow. That is crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy. So, why am I making such a big deal out of this? Because this already happened. It already happened. There is no huge beast that comes up from the water in the bottomless pit and the sea, and when I said water, I meant sea. Comes up from the bottomless pit and makes war on the saints, and all this stuff, and it's going to be breathing fire, and there's going to be two men, Enoch and Elijah, or Moses. It's going to be breathing fire and fighting a big war and everything else. And it's just not. No part of it, hardly, no part of it is literal, okay? And we cannot take it that way, all right? So back to chapter 12, okay? Right here. Let's see. She gave birth to a male child, one who is to rule all nations with a rod of iron. But her child was caught up to God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, in which she is to be nourished for 1,260 days. What's up with the 42 months and the 1,260 days? What's up with that? I think this is why I put this on here. All right, to one of my favorite passages of Scripture to point to Jesus. And it's great all the way around. Psalm chapter 2. So we're going to go right here. Verse 7, I will tell of the decree. The Lord said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will give you the nations as your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. This is the Father talking to the Son, Jesus, before the incarnation. You shall break the rod of iron and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. And then he warns the kings and the rulers of the earth. Be wise. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son. Kiss the Son in reverence. That's reverence, okay? Lest he be angry and you perish in the way. For his wrath is quickly kindled. Blessed are all who take refuge in him. Okay, so the rod of iron. So this is a Mosaic prophecy. I think that's how you say it. So I want to go back. Let's see, where is it? I'm sorry, I'm stupid sometimes. Okay, so let's read this. And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and was crying out in birth pains and agony of giving birth, right? And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon with seven heads and 10 horns, and his heads, and on his heads, sorry, 7 diadems. So I don't know if I said that right, but diadems, I looked it up, and it's actually, that means sovereignty, basically. It's a jeweled crown, okay, and that's what that is. So he has 7 of them. So he's pretty good. Pretty authoritative, you know. But the dragon is always represented of Satan, and we'll get to that. It actually tells us who it is, and that's Satan. His tail swept down a third of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that she was born, or sorry, when she bore her child, he might devour it. So we know, okay, that Satan wanted to devour Jesus, and I mean, he thought he conquered him. He led the killing. So right here, verse 5, she gave birth to the male child, one who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. And back to the rod of iron. But her child was caught up to God and his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, in which she is to be nourished for 1260 days. Sorry, people, I cannot read. It's been a long day. Let's continue. Now, war arose in heaven. Michael, and that's like the main archangel, okay? And his angels fighting against the dragon. And this is like a spiritual battle, okay? This is what you call. So we know that Satan took a third of the angels with him. A third of the stars from heaven, he swept his tail down. Now, did he literally take a dragon tail, right, and swipe up and actually take the stars from heaven, like the stars out of space, a third of them, and take them down? No, that's not literal. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's very hyperbole, right? It's prophetic hyperbole. Every bit of this is. Right? And they fought back. But he was defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. Now, this is talking about Satan trying to take the throne. Satan trying to rise himself above God, okay? Or even equal with him. And we can see this in Isaiah. I forget where it's at exactly, but it's in Isaiah. Anyway, I think it's somewhere in the 40s. Anyway, and the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan. So we know who it is now. The deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. So the whole prophetic hyperbole, like really crazy wordage, right, where the dragon takes his tail and swipes down all the like a third of the stars and everything, it just tells you what that meant. Just keep reading. Verse 10. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now the salvation and the power and the kingdom, the authority of his Christ have come. Okay? For the accuser of our brothers has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before God. So he is the ultimate accuser. Have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. For they loved not their lives even unto death. Okay? Therefore, rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to you. Uh-oh. Sorry. My camera ain't no good. Let's see. Oh, hang on. Sorry, y'all. Please accept my humble apology. Here it comes, and booyah. Okay. All right. There I am. Okay. Let's continue. Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil has come down to you in great wrath, because he knows that his time is short. Right? And when the dragon saw that he had been thrown down to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. But the woman was given the two wings of the great eagle, so that she might fly from the serpent into the wilderness, to the place where she is to be nourished for a time and times and half a time. Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that means, but anyway, the serpent poured water like a river out of his mouth after the woman, to sweep her away with a flood. But the earth came to the help of the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed the river that the dragon had poured from his mouth. Then the dragon became furious with the woman and went off to make war on the rest of her offspring, right? On those who kept the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus. And he stood on the sand of the sea. So, then the dragon became furious with the woman and went off to make war with the rest of the offspring. Who's the rest of the offspring? The two witnesses. I mean, come on. It's right there. Now, but we know exactly what they're talking about, because verse 7 in chapter 13, we've already read this. Also, it was allowed to make war on the saints and conquer them. And then in chapter 11, we know who the saints are, the two witnesses. So it's right there, okay? It's right there. So it's not really that hard, okay? Then we get into the other beasts, which we're not getting into. But the dragon gave the authority, right here. And to it, the dragon gave his power and his throne and great authority. To who? The beast. That did what? Killed the saints. Conquered the saints for 42 months. So it's all right there. And this already happened. The woman that gave birth to the male child, right? The male child is Jesus, the Redeemer, okay? The Savior, okay? And the only thing that I can really think of about the woman is not Mary. Can't be Mary. But it's like, I think it's Israel, or because Israel is called him, a son, right, to God, but he's also a woman, right, that is a harlot, okay, a prostitute, a whore, okay, and we find this in Jeremiah. So, and all over the place, Hosea, right? We find this in Hosea, and so, um, yeah, all this stuff makes perfect sense when you look into it in the lens of not literal. Okay, all right. So let's see who the harlot is. So we see the reason that I'm skipping these is because this is not really, this is just talking about, the ones that are saved. Okay, this is talking about the Lamb of the 144,000, which is 12,000 from each tribe, and there's 12 tribes. So that's not literally talking about, an like an actual 12,000 and 144,000. That's all that'll be saved. No, but here's this. To the mark of the beast. What is the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast is not some crazy thing that you pay money with, right? That we're seeing. It's a chip. Oh, the mark of the beast is a chip. We must not take the mark of the beast. The shot, the COVID-19 shot. That's not the mark of the beast. That's not the mark of the beast. None of that is the mark of the beast. This is what the mark of the beast is. Okay, let's go back to 13. We'll go all the way down to the mark of the beast. So, verse 17. So that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name, right? This calls for wisdom. Not a lot of people have that. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is a number. It is the number of a man. In his number, not a beast. That's just what he's known as, the beast. Because John was like, I'm going to make this like the greatest book ever written here of apocalyptic language and stuff like that. And his number is 666. So that's the mark of the beast. That's the image of the beast. Okay, but let's jump back here. Okay. Let me see. Where was I? I was just here. I just saw it. No. Oh, right here. Worships the beast and his image, and receives the mark on his forehead and on his hand. Now, in the other passages, right, it says the right hand. Okay, so we know that means, right, when you have a name engraved on your forehead or a number, whatever it is, or your right hand. Your right hand is it represents what you do. All right, it represents your outreach, I guess you can call it, and then whoever you follow is on your forehead. And so where did I just see that, man? I'm going nuts. Sorry, guys. Let me find this again. Okay, right here. Then I looked, and behold, on Mount Zion stood the Lamb, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name. So it's Jesus and the Father's name? Come on. Come on. It's Yahweh and Jesus. It's very clear. Written on their foreheads. That's talking about you have the who do you follow? That's what that means. Who do you follow? Okay? And the buying and selling thing, Yeah, that just means that you cannot literally buy and sell things. That's not like some crazy thing. I don't understand why that's like, oh, like a transaction thing. Like, a little chip that you get right here on your right hand, and you just, boop, there you go. And if you don't have it, then you gonna die. No, no, that's ridiculous. Okay, here we go. So that's why I'm not going into all that, okay? I just did. But that's why I'm skipping the plagues, right? The bowls of wrath. We'll do that later, maybe. But the great prostitute and the beast. Okay, so what does the beast represent? So the beast represents Babylon. Okay, Babylon. Now, there is no Babylonian Empire now, and there wasn't when this was written. So why is he talking about Babylon falling, the great city of Babylon falling? Well, Babylon took the Jews, right, in captive, okay, for many years, okay, and then here comes the Roman Empire, and they just kind of did away with them. But so Babylon represents, and the beast represents sin, okay, evil, sin, okay. So let's read verse 1. Well, actually, hang on. Can't hear. I know that was way let me see. Can't hear. It's crazy. Should be able to. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just going to check something real quick. That's weird because I just heard it. Sorry if you can't hear. Might need to turn up your volume. Anyway, okay, so let's go back to it. Okay, verse 1, chapter 17, verse 1. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute, who is seated on many waters." Literally? No. With whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers of the earth have become drunk. Okay. So verse 3, and and he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet. Can I read? Apparently not. And adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, right? Holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. Okay, so let's just stay right here for just a second. Let me look back and just make sure that I got it right. I know it's in Jeremiah because all of this is in Jeremiah. Because Jeremiah is a great book, obviously. Let me just see. I really want y'all to see this because this is very telling.
Very telling. Because in Jeremiah, God is prophesying about all in the first few chapters of the book, all about, how she is adulterous, Israel, right, and Judah, Jerusalem, all the same place, how they're harlot, right, and the great desolation, great, you know, so the lament and all that. Let's just go. Jeremiah chapter 4. Okay. So the sackcloth part. Let's see. A lion has gone up from his thicket. A destroyer of nations has set out. He has gone out from his place, to make your land a waste. Your cities will be ruins, right, without inhabitant. For this, put on sackcloth, lament and wail. For the fierce anger of the Lord has not turned back from us. So again, there's in context what sackcloth represents. Okay, lament and wail. All right, so let's continue. I'm sorry, I really, really, really want to hold on into this, because it's what John is trying to tell us in Revelation, and who the harlot is right here. Yes, beautiful. Okay, let's go down. Let's go to verse 30. Verse 30. Here we go. All right, so this is Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 30. And you, O desolate one. Who's that? That's Jerusalem, Israel. What do you mean that you dress in scarlet? This is Israel, dressed in scarlet. That you adorn yourself with ornaments of gold. What did we just read? That you enlarge yourself, your eyes with paint. In vain you beautify yourself. Your lovers despise you. They seek your life. For I heard a cry as a woman in labor, anguish as of one giving birth to her first child. The cry of the daughter of Zion, gasping for breath, stretching out her hands. Woe is me. I am fainting before murderers. Okay, so right here, O desolate one. Okay, let's get some context. Let's see who this actually is. Obviously it's talking about Jerusalem. Okay. Okay, right here. Over anguish over Judah's desolation. Okay. Verse 19. My anguish, I writhe with pain. Oh, the walls of my heart. My heart is beating wildly. I cannot keep silent. For I hear the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. Okay. So, again, who's this talking about? And what does that sound like? Kind of sounds like Matthew 24, does it? Now, I've already read through the entire chapter. Okay. So right here. O Jerusalem, wash your hearts from evil. Wash your heart from evil, that you may be saved. How long shall your wicked thoughts lodge within you? For a voice declares from Dan and proclaims trouble from Mount Ephraim. Warn the nation that he is coming. Announce to Jerusalem. Now we're announcing this to Jerusalem right now. Besiegers, okay, come from a distant land. They shout against the cities of Judah. Like keepers of a field are they against her all around, because she has rebelled against me, declares the Lord. Your ways and your deeds have brought this unto you. This is your doom, and it is bitter. It has reached your very heart. Okay. So this is, oh man, this is so good. Announce the coming. Okay. Warn the nations of his coming. Announce to Jerusalem this. This is what you announce to Jerusalem right here. Besiegers come from a distant land. Where is that at? That's Rome. Come on. Come on. Verse 17. Like keepers of a field are they against her all around, because she has rebelled against me, declares the Lord. Who is she? Jerusalem. Okay. Now, the keepers around about her. Okay, here we go. I wasn't going to do this, but we're going into it. We're going to the abomination of desolation. Matthew and Mark would say, watch out for the abomination of desolation. When you see the abomination of desolation, flee to the mountains, Judea. Or Judah. The ones that are in Judah, or Judea. I think it's Judea. Flee to the mountains. Yeah, Judea. Flee to the mountains. Okay. So actually, before we do that, let's go to Matthew. So that let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Okay. Now let's jump back to Luke. It says the same thing in Mark. We don't have to go. Luke 21, right here. Verse 20. But when you see the abomination of desolation. Yeah. But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. Surrounded. What does that mean? All around. Camped out around. Okay. Around about. Then know that the desolation has come near. Then let those that are in Judea flee to the mountains. Wow. Wow. So the abomination of desolation is Jerusalem being surrounded by armies, which is the destruction of the temple, which is the trampling of the holy city, which is in 42 months, 1260 days. That's when the two witnesses will be on earth, which they were, okay? The two witnesses. Then, right, the beast will then kill and conquer the two witnesses, the saints, in other words, okay? And all this happens the same way, okay? Now, Jerusalem, okay? Real quick. Now, talking about the blood of the saints, Matthew 23. Let's go to the lament of Jerusalem, over Jerusalem. Right here. Verse 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often would I have gathered your children together as a hen gather her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. See, your house has left you desolate. Okay. For I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So, see, your house has left you desolate. Okay, this is Jerusalem. Let's jump back. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 30. And you, O desolate one. What? And up here, we're talking to Jerusalem. Here. The whole land shall be in desolation. Okay. Well, I'm way off. Where am I even at? Okay. O desolate one. Yeah. I ride with pain. Let's see. Yeah. How long must I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? Okay. We're talking about Jerusalem here. Announce to Jerusalem. And then we do all the announcements to Jerusalem. Okay. And then we come down to this. And you, O desolate one, what do you mean that you dress in scarlet? That you adorn yourself with ornaments of gold? That you enlarge your eyes with paint? That's what women do whenever they put makeup on. They enlarge their eyes and make them look desirable. In vain you beautify yourself. Your lovers despise you. They seek your life. All right. So right here, dressing in scarlet, adorning ornaments of gold, wearing gold, okay, and beautifying yourself. Let's jump back. Revelation 17. The sexual immorality, right here. Verse 3. And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. Okay. Right here, let's jump down. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding nations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. This is who John is trying to say here. Right? Why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was and is not and is about to rise from the bottomless pit. The same one that kills and conquers the 2 witnesses from the bottomless pit and go to destruction. All right? Sorry. And the dwellers on earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, right, will marvel to see the beast, right? Because it was and is not and is to come, right? So, verse 7. This calls for a mind of wisdom. Again, look, this is why John continuously puts this in here. This calls for wisdom. This calls for understanding. Because it does. You can't just read Revelation and think you got it all figured out because, it's talking about manhoppers and a huge beast and a woman drinking blood on the huge beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns. No. A huge dragon that's chasing a woman carrying a child. And then out of his mouth, out of the dragon's mouth, will come out flows out water, right? And floods the earth. But then the earth says the earth comes to her help, to the woman's help. The earth opens its mouth. Last time I checked, the earth don't have a mouth. Opens its mouth, and the water goes in, swallows it up. Anyway, this calls for a mind with wisdom. Okay? So if you don't got wisdom, don't open up the book of Revelation. Okay? Just saying. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, right? On which the woman is seated. They are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while. As for the beast, that was and is not, it is the 8th, but it belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction. Okay? Verse 12. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour. Wow, that's real long. Together with the beast. These are the one mind, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will kings. Jeez. Look, I'm sorry. Okay, I know this is like the worst live stream you have ever been to. I am so sorry. I still am trying to figure all this stuff out. And again, I have not been live since I moved into this new house. So I apologize for all the stuff going on. All right, here I come. Boom. All right. Okay, here we go. For the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. All right, we're almost done. 15. And the angel said to me, the waters that you saw were where the prostitute is seated, are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make war with her, they will make her desolate, and naked, and devour her flesh, and burn her up with fire. Okay? Verse 17. For God has put it into their hearts to carry out his purpose by being the one mind and handing over their royal powers to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city that is dominion, that has dominion over the kings of the earth. Okay. So, what is this right here? Verse 16. And the 10 horns that you saw, okay, and the beast will hate the prostitute. So the prostitute's riding on the beast. They will make her desolate, right, and naked, and burn her and kill her. So here's the thing. Who hates her? The beast. Let's jump back up real quick, and then we'll be done with this live stream, because I'm just kind of jumping around everywhere. I didn't have a script. I never have a script. Let's go back to verse 30. And you, O desolate one, what do you mean that you dress? Okay. Your lovers despise you. They seek your life. Yeah, so they seek your life. So you do all this stuff in vain. Okay? So Israel, Jerusalem, Judah, Israel, same thing. Israel is the prostitute. Okay? The beast, right, is Babylon. Okay? Represents Babylon, the great city. Okay? And all this stuff all flows together, right? Jesus speaks about the desolation. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. It speaks of the abomination of desolation, which in Luke's gospel, that means when you see the abomination of desolation, when you see Jerusalem being surrounded by armies, that's the same thing. And what happened in 70 AD? All of this. Yes. Every bit of Revelation is pretty much spiritual. Hardly any of it is actual physical stuff. Okay? So, again, I apologize for the live stream being so cruddy. I'm gonna end it here. But look, I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did or if you didn't, if this is your first time here, love you. All right. Please come back for more. You've always got some great content here. And again, I hold all this really light in my hand with eschatology, book of Revelation, all that stuff, okay? But I am very well convinced of these things as well. But if you got something better and you're willing to come on this channel and debunk it all, please do. And I will probably be convinced. It's not easy, or it's not hard to convince me on these things. However, it is, and it is impossible to convince me otherwise with the Trinity. Jesus came down, manifested in the flesh. Jesus died and rose again. Jesus lived a perfect life. We are saved by grace through faith alone. And the Bible is the coherent word of God. So, anyway, love you guys. If you like this live stream, if you like this video, like, subscribe, do all that great stuff, and share it to whoever you want. If they have trouble looking at these things and they want another set of eyes, that would be fantastic. Just send them this video, okay? Thank you for watching. God bless.